Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into something a little bit different.
A little bit different.
It might have you scratching your head a little bit. Bitcoin
Bitcoin.
as a solution to big problems in society. And
Yep.
the source material that we are going to be looking at today is a YouTube video,
Okay.
documentary style, called God Bless Bitcoin. Have you seen this?
I have, yeah. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it brings together some interesting concepts: finance, technology,
Huh.
and surprisingly, religion.
Yeah, I mean, it is an interesting approach, isn't it? Like, what does
Yeah.
religion have to do with Bitcoin? Well, I guess that's what we're going to find out.
That's what we're going to be unpacking today.
Yeah.
So the video starts with this really attention-grabbing comparison.
Okay.
Do you remember the Brady Bunch?
Oh, yeah, vaguely.
Right. One working parent,
Huge family.
big family, housekeeper, a dog, living the American dream.
Yeah.
Right? And the video argues that this was possible because back then, money wasn't broken. But think about now.
Think about your own experiences. Like, has it felt harder to make ends meet lately?
Yeah.
Maybe you've noticed that your dollar just doesn't
Go as far.
Yeah, it doesn't stretch as far as it used to. Well, the video blames inflation and the current system for this,
Right.
Since we moved away from the gold standard
Back in 71.
back in 1971, they actually use a clip of Nixon announcing
Oh, wow.
the end of the gold standard, which is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
This shift to a fiat currency system
Yeah.
where money isn't really backed by anything tangible is kind of at the heart of their argument.
So, okay, let's break it down a little bit because they
Yeah.
talk about two types of inflation. Physical inflation,
Right.
which is caused by real-world shortages,
Yeah.
like after a natural disaster or something like that.
Right.
But then there's monetary inflation.
Which is a little different.
Yeah. Caused by the government printing more money?
More money, yeah.
Yeah.
Which they argue is the more common
Right.
and the more problematic.
Yeah, because it devalues.
He devalues the currency we all use every day.
Yeah.
So think about it. If the price of everything keeps going up,
Mm-hmm.
but your income stays the same,
Mm-hmm.
you're effectively getting poorer, right?
Yeah.
And the video is arguing that this system disproportionately hurts the working class
That makes sense.
while benefiting those who already have significant wealth.
So what does that mean for us? I mean, are we just stuck?
Well, that's where Bitcoin comes in.
Oh, okay.
The video paints a pretty bleak picture of our current financial system,
Yeah.
but it offers Bitcoin as this beacon of hope,
Okay.
a potential solution, a way out.
We got all the people's money.
Right. Free from political control and manipulation.
Okay, that sounds very idealistic.
It does, yeah.
But how does it actually work?
Right. It can feel pretty complex.
Very.
But I think the video does a pretty good job
Okay.
of using analogies to make it easier to grasp.
Okay.
So, for example, they compare storing Bitcoin to having a locker.
Right.
A locker. Yeah. Imagine you have this locker with a unique number that anyone can use to send you things.
Mm-hmm.
That number is your public key. But only you have the key to open the locker
Okay.
and access what's inside.
Okay.
That's your private key.
I'm starting to get the picture here.
So you have complete control over your Bitcoin.
Right.
There's no need to rely on a bank or any other third party to manage it.
So it's like cutting out the middleman,
Exactly. And because Bitcoin is decentralized,
which means.
no single entity controls it.
Okay.
The video argues that it's much harder to manipulate
Okay.
than traditional currencies.
I see.
It's a more transparent system.
Or equitable.
They even talk about this revolutionary technology called blockchain.
Blockchain.
I think of blockchain like a digital ledger,
Mm-hmm.
keeps track of every Bitcoin transaction ever made.
Right.
It's public and transparent.
So everyone can see it.
Everyone can see what's going on, but it's also incredibly secure
Okay.
because it's spread across a vast network of computers.
So there's no like one single point of failure.
Exactly.
Okay.
This eliminates the need to trust any single institution like a bank to handle your money.
So no more waiting days for transactions to clear
Exactly.
or worrying about banks freezing your accounts.
Right.
Okay, so this is starting to sound pretty revolutionary.
It does, doesn't it?
But is it really the answer to all our financial worries?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
The video certainly presents a very compelling case.
Yeah,
But it's important to remember that Bitcoin is still a relatively new technology,
sure.
and there are definitely some valid criticisms
Mm-hmm.
and potential drawbacks that we need to consider.
And that's what we'll be diving into next.
That's right.
We'll be exploring some of those criticisms.
Yep.
And really taking a look at whether Bitcoin lives up to the hype.
Sounds good. One of the biggest criticisms, I think, leveled at Bitcoin is the price volatility.
Yeah.
The video talks about it being a hedge against inflation, but its value has fluctuated quite a bit in the past.
We've seen the headlines, right?
Right.
Bitcoin skyrocketing one day and then plummeting the next.
Yeah.
So how can it be a reliable store of value if it's so unpredictable?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
And the video doesn't shy away from that.
Okay.
They acknowledge that the price can be volatile,
Okay.
but they argue that this volatility is largely due to its relative infancy
Okay.
and that it will stabilize as adoption grows and the market matures.
So as more people start using it,
Exactly.
it'll kind of even out.
Right. They even draw a parallel to the early days of the internet,
Oh, interesting.
which also experienced huge volatility
Bricks and downs.
before becoming an integral part of our lives.
Okay, I see what they're saying.
Right.
Like, it's still early days
Still early.
for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
The video also makes a big deal about Bitcoin promoting financial inclusion,
Yeah.
especially for people who are unbanked,
Right.
underbanked.
Mm-hmm.
But what about people who don't even have access to the internet or smartphones?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
And it highlights one of the limitations of Bitcoin.
Right.
While it can potentially offer these financial services to those who have been excluded
Mhm.
from traditional systems,
Right.
it does require access to technology
Mhm.
and a certain level of digital literacy.
Yeah.
So the vision of universal financial inclusion through Bitcoin
Right.
might be a little overly optimistic at this point.
Okay, so it's not perfect.
It's not a magic bullet.
There are still some hurdles to overcome.
Right.
Now, the video kind of shifts gears a little bit and
Yeah.
paints a pretty stark contrast between Bitcoin and something called,
CBDCs.
yeah, central bank digital
So the
currencies,
same digital currencies.
or CBDCs.
Yeah.
They even say that CBDCs could be a significant threat to our freedom and privacy.
Right.
They use China's rollout of CBDCs as an example.
Yeah.
Imagine a world where every transaction you make is tracked and potentially censored by the government.
A little bit Big Brother-ish.
Yeah, it's a bit unsettling.
Yeah.
They even have the scenario where someone tries to buy something
Right.
using a CBDC wallet,
Mhm.
but they're denied because they've already spent their weekly limit or something.
Oh, wow.
Kind of scary.
Yeah.
So the video portrays Bitcoin as like a tool for individual empowerment
Right.
and freedom,
Mhm.
while CBDCs are this potential tool for government overreach and control.
It's almost like two opposite ends of a spectrum.
Yeah, right.
Like one is about freedom and the other is about control.
To drive that point home even further,
Mm-hmm.
they use this fun little game called CBDC versus Bitcoin,
Okay.
where they present these different scenarios.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
like in one, someone's digital wallet is frozen
Yeah.
because they criticize the government.
Oh, wow.
And in another, someone uses Bitcoin to escape an oppressive regime with their savings intact.
So it's really showing the potential consequences.
Right, and it gets you thinking
Yeah, of each system.
about which one you would rather have, right?
Yeah, it makes you think about the implications for individual liberty
Uh-huh.
and financial autonomy.
So are they saying that Bitcoin is the answer to fighting against government oppression?
Well, the video definitely frames it as a tool
Mm-hmm.
for social and economic change.
Okay.
It's presented as a way to break the cycle
Break the cycle.
of freedom and oppression that has kind of plagued humanity for centuries.
I mean, that's a pretty big claim.
It is a big claim.
Right.
Yeah.
Can technology really drive such profound change?
I think that's the core question, isn't it?
Yeah.
The video clearly presents a specific perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to each of us to kind of dig deeper,
It's your own research.
consider different viewpoints,
Right.
and ultimately form our own conclusions.
I think they're oversimplifying things a little bit.
Yeah.
The real world is messy
It's complicated.
and complex.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure any single technology, even one as groundbreaking as Bitcoin,
Right.
can solve all of our problems.
I agree. It's not a magic bullet.
For example, they touch on the technical aspects of blockchain,
Mm.
but they don't really delve into the downsides, like the energy consumption
Oh, right.
required for Bitcoin mining,
Yeah, that's a big one.
or the fact that it's been used for, illicit activities in the past.
That's true. There's always that risk with new technologies.
Right.
It's important to look at all sides of the coin.
Literally.
Literally, yeah. And even with a technology as revolutionary as Bitcoin,
Hmm.
real change requires more than just adopting a new form of currency.
Okay.
It requires addressing these underlying societal issues,
Right.
promoting financial literacy,
Hmm.
ensuring responsible innovation.
So where do we go from here?
Well, the video ends with a call to action,
Okay.
urging viewers to learn more about Bitcoin
Okay.
and to kind of consider its potential impact on the future.
But what do you think is the key takeaway?
I think the most important thing is to engage with these ideas critically.
Okay.
Don't just accept what you hear at face value.
Do your own research
Exactly. Explore different perspectives. Come to your own conclusions.
about the role Bitcoin might play
Exactly. In shaping the future.
of finance and society as a whole.
Right.
It feels like we're only scratching the surface here. The video, God Bless Bitcoin,
It does, yeah.
presents this like very specific and optimistic perspective on Bitcoin, but
Yeah, there's a lot more to the story.
yeah.
Definitely.
And one of the things that I noticed that they didn't fully address
Yeah.
was like the ethical dimension
The ethical dimension.
on
There's-
this whole thing.
Yeah. It's interesting because Bitcoin has been praised, right, for its potential to, empower individuals,
Right.
promote financial freedom,
Right.
but it's also been criticized for its environmental impact
Okay.
and its use in illicit activities.
They touch on the energy consumption
Right.
for mining Bitcoin.
Yeah. But they don't really, get into the weeds.
No, they don't really dive into it.
No.
And there have been concerns about Bitcoin being used for money laundering
Yeah.
and other illegal activities because of its
It's kind of
decentralized.
decentralized and pseudonymous nature,
Right.
right?
So it's kind of hard to track.
It is, yeah. And those are valid concerns, I think,
Yeah.
that deserve a little more attention.
It makes you wonder if any technology, no matter
Right.
how revolutionary, can really be inherently good or bad.
It's a tough question. I mean, ultimately, it's how we choose to use it
Right.
that determines its impact.
It's like any tool.
Exactly.
It can be used for good or for bad. That's not the
Exactly.
tool itself.
Right.
So the video frames this choice between Bitcoin and CBDCs as like a battle between individual freedom and government control.
Yeah. It's very black and white.
But I don't think it's that simple.
No, I don't think so either.
Both systems have their potential benefits
Of course.
and their risks. And maybe
Yeah.
the best path forward is somewhere in the middle.
Finding that balance
Right. Finding a balance.
between innovation and regulation.
Right.
That's usually the case, isn't it?
It usually is, yeah.
Not too far one way or the other.
So for our listeners, what's the takeaway?
Well,
Because this has been,
it's been thought-provoking,
yeah,
for sure. But there's no easy answer
right,
to the question of, is Bitcoin
right.
the future of money? Is it a force for good?
We don't have the answer for you.
I don't have a crystal ball,
Right.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I think the most important thing
Yeah.
is to stay informed and engaged.
Okay.
This world of finance and technology is constantly changing.
Evolving.
Yeah, it's up to us to kind of keep learning,
Right.
educate ourselves,
Participate.
and participate in shaping that future.
Yeah. We've only scratched the surface here today.
We have, but hopefully
Let's spark some
curiosity.
curiosity, giving you some food for thought. Because remember, the future is not something that happens to us.
It's something we create
Right. We create it.
through our choices.
Our actions.
Keep learning, keep asking questions,
Keep diving deep.
and we'll see you next time.